Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Crazy Women Country. This is our second intro thanks to technical difficulties of the internet. But as you know, I'm Donna, and today we're here with Amy Martin, and she's been very patient with me. I'm glad to have you. And how are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, definitely my pleasure, obviously. So you've already been prepped for this because you've answered this before. The hardest question we ask: who is Amy Martin?
Yes, Amy Martin. I am a musician who likes to, in particular, really through authenticity and sharing in my song and my writing, offer a space for that authenticity and transformational power of community. I really think that as a singer-songwriter, that's what I strive to do, is produce music that create conversation and create relationship with others. So
beautiful. Absolutely. So we were talking a little bit about your newest release, Sweet Virginia. So would you like to tell us the inspiration behind that and why you wrote that song?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sweet Virginia is actually, wrote it in April of 2021. And I don't really write traditionally. I don't sit down and write with lyrics and think of chords. Usually it just kind of comes to me. I hit record on my iPhone, memo and improv, and then listen back and see what we got. And so I was kind of having one of those sessions in my home studio. This is kind of before everything opened back up. And as I was writing, I realized it was about Virginia. And the more I kept writing, I realized it was about how it was my time to leave Virginia. So a little bit about me in that is I'm from Harrisonburg, Virginia. I lived there for about 19 years and was playing music out there in a band as a vocalist for about 8 years. And then in March of 2020, I decided to put out my first solo album. And then here I was during COVID, writing Sweet Virginia, realizing, hey, I think it might be time to spread my reach and try something new, get out of my comfort zone. And so I wrote Sweet Virginia and recorded it in my home studio, put down the harmonies, the bass, the shaker. I got to be the whole one-person band, which was fun, and headed west. And now I'm in Denver, Colorado. So that song is really about, the appreciation of my time in Virginia and how it shaped me, but that ultimate realization that I'm ready for the next thing. It's time to be a little uncomfortable. So
beautiful. And the fact that you did it all from your home studio, I think that's one thing with COVID, that a lot of artists have become more versatile. Would you agree on that?
Oh yeah. I would say that, pre-COVID world is, a lot of performing, a lot of just, writing the music and then making the record. And but I feel like the pandemic really made us all stop and think as songwriters of like, wow, I don't have that outlet anymore. How do I bridge connection? How do I continue to create music without that, my circle of folks that I'm usually collaborating with? And I think the answer is that like collaboration still exists. All those things still exist. We just have to really find a different way to do it. But I would say that in particular, COVID has really made me, and I think a lot of other artists, up their social media game and branching out and doing a lot of things a lot more like this, and bridging that connection between shows, because unfortunately we're not quite sure when those are going to happen and if they're going to stay, if they're going to get canceled, or if I'm going to be able to tour later this year. A lot of that's still up in the air. So I'd say that COVID definitely had me find a toolbox that I wasn't sure I had. So
wonderful. And it's great to see that. It's, and I think a lot of new fans have been bridged with the internet like that, because even for being at home, the live music venues aren't there, the concerts aren't there anymore. So we had to go and look for that venue to find, new artists and seek them out. And it was just, I think, a very unique circumstance overall. So
I agree. Yeah. I went from like come to our shows, come to our shows. And I guess, you know, it also, as a listener, helped me kind of slow down and appreciate music a little more and dive into and discover new artists as well. So that was cool.
Tigger says hi. Being a little crazy, bouncing all over like usual. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. I got two of my own.
she loves to just pop in, say hi. And usually she used to get the favorite host vote of the day. So yeah, she won, I think 2020's or 2021, sorry, the host of the year. So,
oh yes,
anyway.
Good.
Oh, so we mentioned that you're going to start recording a new album in March. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. March 5th, I'll be flying from Denver, Colorado to someplace in West Virginia. And I will be recording my next album. I actually had the opportunity to play actually Sweet Virginia, the demo of that, to Chance McCoy of Old Crow Medicine Show. And that resulted in him agreeing to produce my next album. So I'll be recording out in West Virginia with Chance McCoy, and we're going to make an Americana album. My first solo album was particularly on purpose. It was stripped down and kind of kept just me and my guitar to kind of see what you would see live. Whereas this one with Chance McCoy is going to be fully produced with a full band, full album. We're going to, you know, do the whole shebang. And then the hopes would be to get a full-time band with me and then start booking more and more. So yeah, that's really exciting. Huge things coming. And I'm just ready to make it at this point. I went from like, oh my gosh, it's happening, to like, holy crap, it's coming. How will I ever be prepared, to now, like, you know, I'm just ready to get in there and do it now. So it's a lot of really great momentum behind it.
Wonderful. And and the buildup of it, I can only understand, you know, from different things that we do. Like, for instance, we have a concert coming up. So just the buildup of this, it's been crazy. You know, like, and that's, I feel the whole process with you. Like,
yes. Yeah.
So tell us, who are some of the women that have inspired you to do music?
Oh yeah. Gosh, that's a tough and easy question. Tough because there's so many, easy because there are so many. At least you didn't make me choose one. That's when it's a impossible question. I'll say the reason why I started singing is the first woman that I ever heard on the radio that really inspired me to become a vocalist at like 6 years old is Martina McBride. I was in the backseat of my mom's Monte Carlo, driving around somewhere in Maryland, and Independence Day came on the radio, and my mom got really into Martina, and so did I. And yeah, she was the first song I sang on karaoke. I was like, I would say about 6. I think I sang Life Number 9. And from that moment on, my mom couldn't get me down from the stage. And so Martina McBride really shaped me as an artist throughout my childhood. As a young girl, I was spending a lot of time listening to her albums and rewinding and playing back, and almost, you know, using that as my vocal coach, you know. And then from there, also, you know, Alanis Morissette, Janis Joplin, really these Jewel, Joni Mitchell, Stevie Nicks, Linda Ronstadt, like that. Those are my gals. Melissa Etheridge. These ladies. You know, and then even Etta James and in that jazz space, I'm really multi-genre influenced in regard to women vocalists in particular. I just followed the power and the soul of their voices, and you know, the genre was secondary. And so those are a few that are right off the top of my head that really got me to where I'm at today.
Oh, great women for sure. And I loved how you mentioned Martina McBride as a vocal coach, because I mean, yeah, she just, the power, you know.
I picked a good one, didn't I?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say so. I remember it being so blunt. My mom and my parents had split custody, and I lived in Virginia, and my mom lived in Maryland still. And so, you know, we would spend most of our time together in the car traveling. And so a lot of it was just listening to music and listening to Martina McBride in particular, and kind of challenging each other to, like, you know, hit those notes and with longevity and all of that. And, you know, there were many times where we were shaking our head, being, you know, rewinding, being like, show off, you know, with Martina, you know, how she would just hold that note for like 45 seconds or whatever. But yeah, I learned a lot about breath control from her for sure, among other things.
Oh, that was awesome. So are you ready for some 20 crazy questions?
Let's do it. Rapid fire.
All right. Are you sure you're ready? Okay.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you read?
Oh gosh, literally or like a book?
It can be literal. That's fine.
Oh,
although if you have a good book to give me, that's always a good thing too. I always love book recommendations.
You know, I read a lot of true crime, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint the last thing that I read, but I guarantee you it was full of tragedy. I like factual. I like reading factual things rooted in science a lot of the time. So I'm constantly reading articles and and more so like that than novels. If it is a novel, it's also something factual. I need to work on my imagination, I think. So I don't know that I can name anything in particular, but it was definitely tragic and it was probably about true crime.
Oh, that's perfect. So that's going to lead up to this next question, which is great. Hypothetically, if I came to you and said, I need to hide a dead body, you know a good place.
Are you going to ask me to reveal my place on the podcast?
Well, okay. If you don't want to reveal it, just say yes then.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Wait, what was the question?
No. Yeah. Do you know a good place for me to hide the body?
I don't. I don't have a place in particular. I just moved here, but if we were in Virginia, I might be able to help you out. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Perfect. So we'll go to Virginia and get rid of the body.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Probably wasn't the body farm.
I was gonna say I don't want to weird people out. You know, I want people to listen to my music, but my initial response is like, I don't recommend you hiding a body the traditional way. I feel like, the DNA evidence, it's too easy to get caught these days. We'd have to have a lot more conversation, you know what I mean, around how to get rid of a body these days.
Yeah. I mean, Breaking Bad did help us a little bit, you know.
That's true. That's gross. Yeah, won't be. I hope that's not the only way. Yeah.
So what's the best concert you've ever been to, or top two?
Oh man. These are difficult questions to ask a musician off the bat. The most recent one I went to actually was Brandi Carlile, which was the first time I'd ever seen her live. I actually just discovered her, speaking of quarantine and like slowing down and all. I actually just started listening to her over quarantine in 2020, which is funny because given being a female vocalist in the space, a lot of folks over the years had told me, check out Brandi Carlile. But because of, just this, always booking gigs and thank you. Yeah, I will. And then just never really like clicking to remember to look up and look into her. And of course I fell in love with her. And I found a lot of similarities between the way that we look at music. And so, yeah, it was a privilege. I saw her at Red Rocks this past September, and she had the Denver orchestra backing her and the twins, and it was phenomenal. It was a show, I would say. Yeah, it was great. It was really, really great.
So I'm going to ask now, because obviously I've always wanted to go to a concert at Red Rocks. So tell me, was that your first concert at Red Rocks also, or have you been to other concerts there?
It was. And I was so hell-bent on Brandi Carlile being my first concert there because I booked it when I was in Virginia. Before I even knew I knew I wanted to move here, but I didn't have anything in place. And it was like COVID. So I wasn't sure if the concert was ever going to happen. It was almost like, I'm going to make sure I live in Colorado by the time this concert happens. It was kind of like that, like cool little benchmark for me to kind of make sure I'm here for the Brandi Carlile concert. And there were like other concerts I had ended up gotten to Colorado and saw there was other concerts I wanted to go to at Red Rocks, but I was like, no, I have to keep it. Cause I knew it was going to be so epic with like the orchestra and all. And it is a must. It's a must go. And, people to my right and my left, they're all from all over the country flying out to see this venue. So it was beautiful. I mean, you're in nature's wonder while also having your mind blown by wonderful artists. So it's pretty cool.
Wonderful. So if I get out there and you're not touring, you'll have to come with to a concert.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'll hit you up if ever, believe me. You'll know if ever I'm playing Red Rocks, you'll know about it. But
okay, perfect. I'll be there.
Yeah, appreciate it. You got it. You got a ticket. I promise.
Oh, so what's the first thing you would do if you won the lottery?
Resolve any debt that I had because I'm very boring. And then no,
it's fiscally responsible.
I would resolve any debt, save a portion, and then make sure my parents were set. They I've stood on their shoulders my entire life, in one way or another. And I think it'd be good. I owe them probably as much as the lottery would be, I'm sure. So I would definitely take care of my parents. And then from there, I don't think I ever want to be rich. So I'd find a good couple of causes to split the rest with.
Beautiful. Love it. Tell us something that's on your bucket list.
I'd like to play the Ryman in Nashville. That's on my bucket list. Yeah, my bucket list, I think too, is just to play music full time. I still have a day job. Everyone asks what the end goal is, and I don't know that I have one. The next thing is the next best thing. And so for me, my bucket list, even smaller than that, is to make this album a chance and create a band, to do this thing with me. I got a lot of really cool things on my bucket list that honestly are getting marked off scary quick. I'm afraid to even say them out loud anymore at this point. So yeah, I can't complain.
So what job would you be terrible at?
Anything that had to do with math or numbers. So like, you don't want me adding anything for you.
Okay, we'll keep you out of the accounting area. Promise.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
What's your game plan for zombie apocalypse?
Okay, yeah, I've thought about this. So I'd say the plan, last time I checked, I'd have to check back in with my brother, but the last time I checked, our plan was to go to Canada and bunker up in a cabin somewhere out there, supplies, in artillery, all the thing, and then fight the good fight.
Perfect. Oh, tell us.
Give me a hard question.
Oh, okay. So tell us an artist or album we need to listen to before we die.
Oh shit.
You asked for a hard one.
Yeah, I wish I would have never.
You can.
My next album with Chance McCoy.
Perfect. Coming out later this year.
Yeah, there you go. Ting. Stick around. Stay safe. You have an album to listen to.
Oh, who would play you in a movie about your life?
Wow, I have no idea. I want like other people. I bet other people that know me would have this answer immediately. I don't know. I'd like for it to be someone absolutely ridiculous, though. That's for sure. Like just super dry. They would have to be dry humor. I think like Amy Poehler or somebody like that could do a pretty fair job of equal sarcasm, self-deprecation. That sounds good to me. Let's go with her.
Where's Waldo?
Do you actually have one in your office?
No.
Oh. I was like,
yeah, it's just, yeah, this is the imagination. I'm helping you with that. See?
Oh, where is Waldo?
Yes.
He's in retirement.
But that's great. I'm going to have to put one in my office now that you.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking for like an elf on the shelf or something. Yeah, hopefully he's in retirement. He's done a lot of hiding, a lot of page to page movement. Hopefully he's chilling on a beach with a Mai Tai.
Sounds nice. Would you rather cook or order in?
I'd rather order in, but I'll cook.
Oh, do you sing in the shower?
Sometimes, not as much as people probably think I would. My shower time is like, I think I black out in there. That's like, it's more so my time to like, meditate on the water hitting my back, and that's my quiet time more so than my singing time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you prefer boots or heels?
Heeled boots.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. What's the best thing since sliced bread? Sorry, they got harder. I apologize.
Best thing since sliced bread. I don't know. That's a lot. There's a lot of things that I don't know.
Okay, so do you have? We can skip that for now. Do you have any guilty pleasure music? And if so, what is it?
Mm-hmm. Guilty pleasure. I don't know. I mean, I own. I don't really. Guilty pleasure would make it sound like I'm like, I don't listen to the radio very often, but I will say that there are a few Selena Gomez songs that bop. And so I would say that I have a few guilty pleasures by Selena Gomez in particular. I won't go any further.
Oh, perfect. What is the worst pizza topping?
Black olives.
Oh. If you could be any person for a day or any position like CEO, accountant, well, obviously we know you're not going to be an accountant. We got that. But, any position, who or what would you be and why? I'm going for Dolly Parton myself, just because of her getting up early, writing in the mornings and just, yeah.
Yeah. A musician that I always kind of want to just have a conversation with, get in their head is actually Lady Gaga. So I think I'd like to wake up as her for a day. I think she's a genius. I think she's a creative genius in particular. I'd like to be in her head.
Absolutely. I can't agree more with you on that one too. I'm going to steal that one. I'm going to be her too.
Okay, cool.
So are you good at keeping secrets?
I am.
Oh, good. Then I know I can tell you some. I don't have any right now, but when I do.
I was going to say, it's on record, literally, but you can tell me a secret if you want.
Oh, at what age did you become an adult?
Oh, wow. I'd say I grew up pretty quick. Yeah, I'd say I was at least, sticking my hands in things that don't belong by age 10 or 11. I'd say I grew up pretty quick.
If you could win an Olympic medal for any sport, real or fake, what would it be?
An Olympic medal for any sport. I don't know. I really like, it'd be cool to win a shot put medal. I used to play shot put back in the day, like in middle school, high school. And it is a pretty difficult sport, because you can't throw it. It's all about like pushing it. And I know it's like definitely not the most exciting sport to watch in the Olympics, but I don't know. I think it'd be a cool one to win.
It would be. That's definitely interesting. Yeah. I'm more geared toward the hockey, and it's only because I like ice hockey, but
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I could have said like soccer. I also play soccer or whatever, but I don't know. I'm a brute. I want to throw shit.
I love it. Well, so tell us, obviously we know some of the upcoming stuff, but tell us, what else do you have coming up for the rest of 2022? Do you have some tour dates coming up?
Yeah.
What's happening?
So for sure. I am going to put out this album. And then the goal is to tour as much as possible. So I've been booking extensively in general. I just found out I was making this album, I'd say in like October or something like that, of this past year. Since I've been in Denver, which has been about 6 months, I realized my first 6 months, I booked almost 40 shows. So I'm like always booking everywhere, except for the month of March, because I'll be making the album. So regionally, I'm booking weekly, in Denver and the Colorado area. And then post album, once we get that going this summer, I plan on doing an East Coast, little East Coast tour, crossover into Nashville, back down into the West and hook up with a few friends along the way and share those bills. So they're not released yet, but that is in the plan as long as COVID keeps at bay.
Well, we will all keep our fingers crossed in general for that.
I would like to not put out my second album during a second quarantine. I literally kicked my own ass putting this album out, and I literally put it out in March of 2020, and it was like, cool. Crickets. Now I'm putting it out now I'm making it in March of 2022. And so fingers crossed, I'll be able to tour this one. We'll have an album release and do the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
And you have a great point, because there were quite a few albums that were already slated to come out in 2020 there. And when they came out, it was just one of those where, okay, the album's great, but all the tours, everything postponed, and you know, it was chaos, I think, at first. And
it was weird too, you know, playing them. I mean, I wrote it a year and a half ago, and I've been playing it for 6 months, and I mean, it's really strange, you know, but it's been online for a year. And so it's time is real strange now. Time is weird.
And good thing is you can still reintroduce those older songs, because obviously not all the live audiences have heard them yet.
2 album releases in one. I'm just kidding.
Well, let's make it a double album right away.
That's right. Double header. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on today, and you are welcome back anytime. And hopefully without less technical issues, you know, that would be.
Hey, ideal. I'm down for it. If it, you know, what is the internet if not a giant technical issue? So I'm proud of you. I'm glad to be a part of yours. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, like I said, it's been my pleasure. And thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode, and have a great day. If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.